Alrighty, we are live here on the YouTubes. Welcome everyone. Gina, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Axel. How are you doing today?
Good. We're just doing our pre-podcast chat. Now I just want to make sure we're up on the old, this is what Heath and I learned to do. Before I start the podcast, we do a little bit of chat just until I can see that the YouTube is actually up and running, that it's like
Yeah,
confirmed to me.
it has to
This
wait for the
YouTube is a
humans.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So let's see. We
Okay.
got it. Looks like we're up and running. We're looking good. I'm going to
Okay.
share it to the old Facebooka on
Ah,
the old daily DVR site, and then we'll get started with the old podcast. Why do I keep on saying the old? What the
I
hell
don't
is wrong?
know.
I'm getting old, Gina.
Podcasting's so old. Pretty soon all podcasts will be AI generated. So,
I know, right? And
maybe.
I've trained them with my voice already.
I know.
Um, I really am getting old though because I find myself saying to kids a lot like,
Back
"Hey,
in
big
my day.
guy."
Oh, big
Yeah,
guy. Hey, kid.
back in my day, big guy. It's like a little bit too much, but what are you gonna do? All right, here we go. Gosh, the YouTube really slows down everything. I'm trying to
Well,
make that little post. Maybe I could come up with a better way to do it much on
I
my
don't know.
phone or something.
I don't know. It's probably all about connections,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi connections,
All right.
5G, all
There
that
we go.
stuff.
Now we got the YouTube up. We don't have anybody there watching us yet. One
Oh,
watching. I bet I know who that is. It's me. Um,
that's funny.
it is. But I think Grandpa James will be on soon enough. So, all
Yeah.
right, let's start the old podcast. As I say old
Okay.
again, here we go.
Oh my God.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Daily DVR. My name is Axel. I am here today with Gina. We are going to be chatting about many TV related topics. We got some Handmaid's Tale on the menu. We got some other stuff, including Last of Us Season 2. Maybe we'll throw in a little Bravo stuff as well. You can check us out, of course, at dvrpodcast.com. Become a patron at patreon.com/DVR. And subscribe to us on YouTube. We're live right now. Every single one of our podcasts, we now go live on YouTube. If you become a member of our Facebook page, Daily DVR, a TV and film page, which I believe you can find the link to in the show notes, you can watch us and you'll be alerted when we go live. Um, I'll be back this Friday with a podcast with an old friend of mine, Aaron Brennan, to talk about the mental health issues raised by the Marvel movie Thunderbolts. And that should be a really
Oh,
interesting podcast. He is a world renowned cognitive behavioral therapist.
okay.
And he actually studied with the gentleman who kind of created cognitive
Behavioral
behavioral
therapy.
therapy.
Got it.
That's it. Yeah. So that's what I'll be doing on Friday.
Interesting.
But now we're here with Gina. How you doing, Gina?
I'm doing okay. Axel, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Living my
Great.
life, talking to you.
Ah, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So what do we want to dive into first today?
Well, you went on an amazing trip, and I want to find out about it.
I did. We spent a week in Barcelona and we spent a week in Paris. And kind of our goal with Barcelona is we're potentially checking out a couple other countries and places in the United States to potentially retire in like a decade or so. So
Yeah.
Spain is on our list. Um, really love Spain. Barcelona was great. I think it's too big of a city for us to retire in, probably. But I have to say, everything there is like two-thirds the cost of what it is in the Bay Area. Like we got groceries for six people, I mean, for three people for 60 euro 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, and
Wow.
we went and got they have these little cafes that are probably kind of a chain like a Starbucks, but it's they're called 365 and they're more on the bakery side. But we got two croissants and two cafe con leches one day, and it was like €5.60. So, which it'd be like 20 bucks at
Whoa.
Starbucks or that. So we were like, this is incredible. But we had a great time. We went and saw a flamenco dance kind of dinner theater thing one night, which was really amazing. And
Nice.
went to Basilica Sagrada Familia, which has these amazing stained glass windows, and everything about the inside of the church changes as the light changes outside. So
Yeah.
quite stunning. And yeah,
Yeah.
just, did some exploring and walked along the beach a lot. And yeah, it was a
Nice.
nice time there. And then we were in Paris for a
Oh,
week.
wait, I want to talk more
Oh,
about Barcelona.
oh, you
Hold
do?
on.
Okay.
Yes, because I have not been many places outside of the country, but I have been to Barcelona. I told you
Uh-huh.
my little story that I don't know if I did on the
You
podcast
did.
about I saw
Yeah.
Elliott Smith by accident. But one
Oh,
of the things I loved about Barcelona, or as I call it,
Barcelona.
Barcelona, is everybody works. They go to work at like 9 or 10 a.m. They work for like 2 hours. Then they take a break for like 3 hours and get drunk and eat food and hang out with their friends. Then they go back to work for like an hour and a half and then they go home.
Yeah, and sometimes outside working out during their break.
Yeah,
We'd like be walking along the beach and it's like packed. Everyone, like a Wednesday, everyone's like kind of outside working out, doing their
wonderful.
thing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I love because you know what? To me, I was young. I was like 24 or 25 when I went. And it really opened my mind because I had always heard about how America, people work harder and longer hours in America, no matter what the level. Like if you're
yeah,
rich, poor,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
Americans are addicted to working, right? And it's like the old adage when a European asks someone, it's very gauche to say, what do you do for a living? Like people don't
Mm,
define themselves as their jobs.
right. Yeah.
You might ask them, where are you from? What are you interested in? It's like a different world. That I loved. And I also, my friend Lou and I went and we would just walk up and down, what's it called? Los Ramblas?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Los Ramblas. And we just walk, have a coffee. We were there for like
Yeah.
4 or 5 days or something. I loved it. And I went. Did you go to the different museums, the art museums?
We didn't do so. We were also with my partner's 83-year-old mother. So we
Oh,
did
okay.
probably less than we would
Right.
have done if it was just the two of us.
Well, that's
Yeah.
so sweet
Yeah.
that she went with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were a give and take there.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
But
Totally. So,
that's very
yeah.
generous of you. I'm sure that he is thankful for you, Gina.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I loved Spain. And also I remember that we left Barcelona and we went up into the hills, like
Hmm.
an outside that we went to I don't remember if it was a museum or we just decided to get on a bus and do it. Just like, let's get on a bus and see where it takes us, right? We had a little money, we figured take a cab back. And we ended up on some amazing fucking mountain and we could see like the whole
Oh,
city.
wow.
And it
Yeah.
was, I don't know how we got there, but I'll never forget it. It was, I love Barcelona. All right. And then
Yeah.
we went to Paris.
Yes, we went to Paris, and the one of the key motives for that was when Kayvon, my partner, was immigrating from Iran to the United States when he was a teenager. He spent a year in Paris with family members, um, his
Okay.
cousins on his dad's side. So he hadn't seen these folks in, I guess, about 40 years. And,
That's wonderful.
some of his younger cousins that are more his age, his cousin that was watching over him. Um, so yeah, so we visited with some family for a couple days too, but yeah, we also did touristy stuff. We went to the Eiffel Tower and we actually went to the Picasso Museum in Paris versus the one in Barcelona, but it was still great. And we did like a river cruise along the Seine. That was like a nice kind of lunch thing,
Oh,
and you get
that's
to see all the,
that's
see everything.
beautiful.
Yeah, it
That's
was
as
really
soon
great.
I just imagine being on a boat and then someone singing that song, Champs-Élysées, Champs-Élysées. I remember that song we used to
Yeah.
listen to in French class. Oh man, I would love to go to Paris. That's so cool to be able to see those people after all
Yeah.
that time as well.
Yeah.
You know, what an
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we hung out with one of the cousins a couple times. She came over to the apartment we were staying in one night and had dinner with us. And we went to out to Versailles as well, which was
Wow.
fascinating. Like I guess at one point, like 5,000 plus people were like living on those grounds and in that palace. And it was very crowded, which was, I think, a shock for Kayvon because he went once as a teenager and he's like, it was like a Saturday and it was like I was in a tour group of 20 people and no one was
Yeah.
here. And it was just, um, a mob scene there, but that was pretty cool as well. And yeah, then we just like ate at some, nice, couple nice places. We ate at the oldest cafe to serve coffee in Paris, to serve coffee
Wow.
or ice cream in Paris, which was actually founded by a Sicilian, funny enough. But yeah, so we had lunch there one day and yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was, pretty cool. Went for a lot of walks. Our apartment that we were staying in was maybe a few blocks from the catacombs, which we didn't end up going to. Kayvon wasn't a fan. Like, why do I? He's like, I don't want to find out that we have catacombs under the apartment we're staying in, which we
Yeah.
probably did. But um, but like the
Creepy.
streets there are beautiful. They have like down the middle of each street and neighborhoods, it's just like a pathway with trees on either side. So it's just great. Like
Oh
people
man.
walk everywhere or bike everywhere. And I mean, we took cabs places, but yeah, it was just great. It's a different pace too. And also
Yeah.
Paris, still at least a third less expensive than the Bay Area in California.
Wow. Now
So
that's
yeah,
surprising. That's
yeah,
surprising, Paris.
yeah.
But what you're saying, that is beautiful. You know, my favorite thing, and we did end up doing things, you always end up doing things when you go places. And when I've traveled, I do try to see the sights. But I find you always remember just, hey, we just walked down this street. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I've always wanted to smell Paris. When I think of Paris, I think of the smells. I think of like food and the street and just, because that's how I think of New York too. A lot
Yeah.
of my memories
Yeah.
of New York are very visceral and they involve like how it smelled or felt or even on my
Yeah.
skin. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
Yeah. But no, we had a great time. We flew Swiss Air. For the most part, everyone was lovely to us. I was kind of a little worried going over as an American with all the
Oh, yeah.
craziness we're having
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
There's
Did,
only one cab driver, and it was on our trip to the airport in Paris, as we were leaving, who kind of got on us about not understanding the numbers. It was rolling off fast enough, like, and we're just like, you know what, dude? It's like, whatever. You're like the first grumpy a-hole that we've like really run into here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's a little different though now, isn't it, Gina? Because when I remember Bush was the president when I went, uh, and but it was before 9/11, right? So he hadn't been
okay.
president that
Right.
long. But he was president long enough for the world to be like, oh, fuck, America's no fun anymore, And we're
Hmm.
going over to Europe. At that time, Republican, Democrat, you might be an American traveling, right?
Yeah.
But I think now, do MAGA people want to go anywhere but America? Like, there's no MAGA heads that are like, let's go to Paris. They're all like, I want freedom fries. So I feel like people would kind of just assume you're more progressive by the mere fact that you have chosen to spend time in Paris. But what do I
Yeah.
know? That's just a
Yeah.
generalization,
I don't
but
know,
I
but
think it
most
was true.
most people were pretty cool. So
Pretty
that
cool.
was that
That's
was
what I'm
nice.
saying because
Yeah.
I think they figure like Come on, why would they be here?
Yeah. In fact,
You know what I
one
mean?
day we were in a cab and Kayvon's cousin met us there too. She flew over from Iran. She'd went to school in Belgium and lived in Paris for 3 years. So she was fluent in French. And she was chatting with one of the cab drivers one day. And she goes, he just asked what we think of Trump's manipulation of the stock market with the tariffs and if he's going to be prosecuted for insider trading. And this was a cab
Oh my
driver that
God.
had immigrated from
Yeah.
somewhere in Africa, a country in
Well,
Africa, to France. So he
yeah.
wasn't even French born, but I just thought people are really paying attention to what's
Yeah.
going on. That was a little
Well, that's also
surprising.
the difference, right? Like
Yeah.
in America, people kid themselves that this somehow isn't what's happening. But outside of America, people are like, of course that's what's happening. What are
Yeah.
you fucking
Yeah.
morons? Like, you
Yeah.
know, so I think that you have that you feel that kind of freedom, but then you sense it. I mean, it's the same reason why, honestly, one of the reasons why I love watching F1 is because it takes me out of this fucking country. I'm
Yeah.
serious, right? And
Yeah.
it's a different perspective where people are not bullshitting all the time.
Yeah.
Because this is like the bullshit capital of America with the bullshit president, you know? So, all right, we don't want to go down too far there, though we are going to talk about The Handmaid's Tale, Gina.
Ah, yes.
But before, well, I'm glad you had a good trip. Any flight, so the flight was good, the travel was good, no horror
So
stories?
what? So we were leaving Bars. Wait, is this the right one? We had a couple of weird mishaps. Okay, we were leaving Paris. We flew into Orly. There are two kind of things, Charles de Gaulle
Yeah,
Airport and Orly. We flew into Orly. So of course, Cayman just kind of assumed our flight out of Orly is going to be out of Orly. So we get to the airport super early. We're trying to check in. We're
Oh,
waiting.
it's all his fault. It's all his fault,
Well,
Gina.
he booked this flight after because initially we talked about taking the train.
Okay.
And he's like,
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna get a flight. He did most of the booking. And so
I would have
I
taken a
didn't I
train.
don't even think I had information on this flight, to be honest. Um, and
Okay,
so
you're
he goes,
clear.
okay, so we were early, we're trying to check in our flight, and they go, oh, sir, this is a Charles de Gaulle. And I'm like, oh my God, we're never gonna make it. And he's like, we might. And so we like hustled, got a cab, got there. Fortunately, it was in like the old school because it was just a flight to Barcelona. It wasn't back
Right.
to the United States. If it had been back to the US, we would have been screwed.
They wouldn't have let you on. Yeah.
We would have missed it because the horror story about Charles de Gaulle is if you are flying there to the United States, you need to get there at least 3 hours in advance because it's like a shit show. But we ended up at this tiny little terminal and they even bussed us out to the plane.
Oh,
And so
wow. That's fun.
we ended up making it. It was kind of amazing.
Oh, man. That's like
So
you're like Interpol or something and you're going to the next place. They bust you out.
yeah, but
That's
we made it.
classic.
I was shocked.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
that was a little thing, but that was more kind of our own like, oh, he's like, I still don't understand why flew into one airport and out of the other. I was like, it was like a booking.com thing. Like maybe he just said, oh, I want this time and that time and didn't
Yeah.
really look. So I don't know.
Yep.
But we
Yep.
made it. We made it. So
Yeah, that's a similar thing. I remember when we drove out here, our old friend Mike, who used to do podcasts Winterfell a bit there, here and there. He drove out here, helped us out so much. We got here and I booked a flight from like I paid for him to fly back to New York. And I was convinced that he had an extra day to hang out with us. So he's just about to leave for the airport. I look at it and I go, yeah, Mike, I fucked up. The flight was yesterday.
oh
I
no.
luckily they refunded it and
Oh,
I
good.
explained what happened and it took me a while to do it, but
Yeah.
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 Oh, airplanes, they're so fun, but it
Oof.
sounds like you had some good, that's not
Yeah.
that bad. Rather you make the mistake than they make the mistake, because then at least you
Yeah.
have some
Yeah.
power to correct it.
Yeah.
That's a great trip. Yeah, we Perry and I think about the same thing about where we'd like to retire to. We look around, and I
Yeah.
do have the option whenever I get the balls to do it. My sister tells me you just got to do it because she spent so much time, and I spent a fair bit amount of time as well collecting all of the necessary documents to get my Irish citizenship
Hmm.
because my grandparents were born there. And I just have to send it to them and follow through, but I have to send it to Ireland and it's all originals. So it's like,
Mm.
oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And they only accept originals. So if it gets lost or something, you have to collect.
Yeah.
You only
All the
got a
originals
certain
again.
amount,
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to do it. And then we always think about that because my old boss from World of Video, I was just looking at Facebook today. Mitch lives in Ireland.
Oh,
He and his
cool.
wife went, well, I think they still have a place in New York too. They go
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I see he's over there and I was like, man, wouldn't that be fun one day to just be walking around, go into a pub and there's Mitch and we
Yeah.
just have a beer in
Yeah.
Ireland. But I would love to retire somewhere like that. And I think, I mean, the US being what it is, there are many places in the United States I would love to retire to. Most likely, maybe I would head back to the Northeast because that is where I'm
Yeah.
from, you know. Maybe
Yeah.
like Vermont or something like that. Nice and
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah. You like the cold. I forget
Yeah.
about that.
New Hampshire, live free or die, out there with Ben and Jerry or something.
Yeah.
All right, Gina. I love the check-in. I'm glad you had a good,
Yeah.
safe trip as
Yeah.
well. That's good.
Yeah.
And Mama made it as well too. 83-year-old Mama had a good
Yep.
trip, no problems. Wow.
No, except our apartment in Barcelona was up a couple flights of stairs. That wasn't the most fun, but
Oh, but she made it.
she did.
Wow,
She did.
man. I hope in 33 years I am doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Speaking of the future or a television show supposedly set in it, The Last of Us. We have been discussing it a lot, and I'm interested, Gina, in your opinions on season two of The Last of Us, as well as a little bit how you compare it to season one. Just overall, you're all caught up now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm liking it a lot. I'm enjoying it. I was very sad to see the demise of Joel, especially kind of the way it went down. I just, it was not a glorious death. And it was
Hmm.
just kind of, this is like one of the things I really hated about The Walking Dead. It's, both that's a similar theme. We're post-apocalyptic zombie land, basically. Is when people are just so revenge filled that even someone could save your life and then you just like turn around and kill them because of your personal vendetta. Um, I was just like, oh God, this is, this.
Yeah, we
I,
talked about this last episode. I'm with you on this, Gina. I'm with you.
yeah, I'm
I'm
just
with you.
like, okay, I get we had to take him out. I have a feeling we're going to see another episode with Pedro Pascal though, because I have a feeling there was a major event between Joel and Ellie that went down that we still don't know what it was all about yet because they had that rift, right? And we still don't know why.
Right. You're right. You're
So
absolutely right.
I
You're
I
right.
think we're
And the
going to
thing
get
with
a
the
yeah.
guy, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but also remember how he put down the therapist husband?
Yes, yeah.
And the question is, did he do
Eugene.
it because he was a firefly and may have known what Joel did?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's right.
That's an
So
interesting idea.
and is
Um,
that why she was so angry? Is she had figured out that Joel killed them all to save her?
maybe I thought it was more that he'd been bitten, um, and had to be
That's
put down.
that's
That could
what
be the obvious
I think
one,
that's the
but
story.
yeah, yeah.
That's the story that
Yeah.
everyone believes, right? Because then Jesse said it's a pity that Joel had to be the one to put him
But
down.
I don't know if that's true because I think Ellie would have realized that. Because it's when they're stranded right before Joel dies that they're in the 7-Eleven that's growing all the pot, and she
Right.
finds the firefly thing and says,
Yeah.
"Oh, Eugene was a firefly." So I think if that had been the reason of
Oh, you're
for their
right.
rift,
She would have known already.
she might have known
Okay.
already.
Okay. That's a great point. That's a great point.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what that was. But I'm enjoying the show. I like that they have built a very stable community um in this world. I like all the actors there. I love Dina. Um, I think so. I have some theories. They're now on a revenge quest, which I don't agree with, but I have a feeling while some of it might end up being revenge, there's going to be a bigger purpose to it. Um, that group, the Seraphites that have the scars on their face,
Yeah. Yes.
they had a female prophet that they followed, and I have a feeling she was an immune person, and
Oh, that's
that's why
interesting.
they followed her and considered her a prophet. And I have a feeling that when Ellie meets up with them and learns about this prophet, this is just a whole theory. And someone who knows the game really well is like, well, I know what it is, but I'm not going to spoil it for people. Winky, winky. And I was like, okay.
I
But
don't even remember. I played both of the games and I don't even
yeah.
remember.
So I have a feeling when she meets up with these people, she's almost going to become like their new prophet leader
I
type
like
of
that idea.
thing.
I like it.
So
I,
that's kind of a thing I have,
ooh,
a
I like
theory.
that. Isn't
Yeah.
it fun though this season? I don't know about you. I really enjoyed the first season.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought some of the episodes were fantastic, but I also felt that I also feel like already this season feels more like a linear, just whole season of television so far than the last
Yeah.
season felt to me. And I know, I think you're right. I think we're going to have flashbacks. I like your theory about the scars and the immunity. And I like the fact that we can even have a conversation like that, that it's more, that's what I was saying before the season started. I felt like this season was going to be more fun because there's more to work with. The second game is so much longer, and
Interesting.
with the guy who Neil Druckmann, the guy who created it and directed it and wrote a lot of that game, working and writing and being with Greg Mazin, the showrunner, I think there's an opportunity to go in directions that the game didn't go in, and to go past the revenge story because
Mm,
it is a revenge story. You're right. And you
yeah.
know what? When Dina and Ellie are sitting there and they're finding new love, and
Yeah.
Dina's expressing herself and feeling more comfortable in her sexuality and who she is, perhaps the first time in her life, and she's pregnant, and they
I knew
have a
that was going to happen when they found those bodies and she Ralph's. I'm like, oh, this girl's pregnant because she hooked up with that guy again. It's
there you
just like,
go.
meh.
There you go. And they have him too, Jesse, right? Like they have a community, they have a
Yeah.
whole, like they're
Yeah.
so fucking lucky. The
Yeah.
world has ended, and yet they have everything that a baby would need. And what are they doing? Going to try to kill some girl because she killed Joel?
That's why there
Like,
has to be
yeah, it's not
a bigger thing
satisfying to
to it.
me. And that's yeah. They need to they need to address that in the next. I think I have a feeling the next episode. I didn't look at previews or anything, but I would think at this point in time they either need to address that head on, or they have some flashback or something to kind of push that
Yeah.
aside for for an episode or so, because even at the end Ellie says to her, don't come with me, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, what am I going to sit here? Heath and I talked about it, but it's
Yeah.
just that's got to bother the audience at a certain point, because when you're playing the game you don't have a lot of time to think about that, Gina, because when
Right.
you're playing the game it's much different. Like there is a looseness to them that you as the person playing the character, you're worried about them even when you're playing the character because
Yeah.
you're in this world. So when they're making noise or doing something, or like you're always like, oh God, I don't want the zombies to come out or someone with a
Yeah.
gun, you
Yeah.
know? So it's a
Um,
different experience.
yeah. So something I am not fond of this season is how the zombies have gained more intelligence
Yeah.
because I could tolerate The Walking Dead for a long time because those zombies didn't run. It's like the running zombies that like really personally freak me out, like with 28 days, 28 days later. I hear they're going to do
Yeah,
28 years later. I'm
they
just
are.
like,
They're doing three more of them.
ah, Jesus. And the running zombies, no. And what's the other? That was a movie with Brad
Oh,
Pitt where
oh,
they're like,
DayZ, or what was it
yeah,
called
something
again?
like that.
Yeah,
But running zombies are not my jam. So I was like, oh my God. And they're hiding under the snow and camouflaging themselves. This is not going to be good.
yeah.
And then, but what I loved was, and I heard this was straight from the game, was the Take on Me scene where our superstar Bella Ramsey, who has the sweetest voice
I
ever,
know that was
they were just,
heartbreaking.
I was just like talking about being an old person. I love this kid so much. Like they're so great. And I mean, they were great on Game of Thrones as Lyanna Mormont, and they're great in this role too. And I just think about the range of this actor, and it's just they're phenomenal.
Yeah,
They're a phenom, and I just that whole scene was just so touching. I was just like, oh, I love it so much, and their sweet little voice. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Bella Ramsey's fantastic. That whole
yeah.
scene was great. The acting is great. The whole show. I'm really loving it this season, and I hope. It's weird because it was the opposite for me with the game.
Oh,
I really
interesting.
loved the first game. I thought it was perfect. The second game I thought was fantastic. It still ranks up there as one of the best games, but there was something missing because it lost a lot of its immediacy and like they were on such a straight
Hmm.
mission in the first
Yeah.
season in the first game. But as a television show, I think it works better.
Interesting.
Be-
Yeah.
I just do, and I like the way that it's like they got it out of their system in the first season, all the stuff they wanted to say, and now
Yeah.
they can just tell a story. So when something comes up like their relationship, it just feels so much more natural. I feel in this
Yeah.
second season, it's just, and you know, maybe it's just making the show too, and the production design as well. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
all
and we'll
right.
see what happens with Jeffrey Wright's character.
Oh
That's very
yeah.
interesting.
Westworld.
Will he end up being just a pure bad guy the whole way through, or will he have some type of change of he changed before from a Fedra to a wolf, so he might change like that his hostage said, no one ever leaves the Seraphites to go join the wolves, but wolves leave to join us every day. So I thought that might be a foreshadow of he's going to leave or that little shit outside the door who is also in the Gilded Age.
Yeah. Yep. He's the
I was
Irish
like, what?
guy working in the kitchen, right?
I know.
He's awesome. Oh, he's an
Yeah.
inventor now. Maybe in this next
Yes.
season, he might actually be something more
He
than
got a
he
patent.
was
So
before, right?
yeah.
Because that's an awesome. Oh man, we should just say for a second, Gilded Age season 3 is coming out. I'm so excited. I know we both love that
Yeah.
show, but I think that's an opportunity for his character
Oh yeah.
because unlike when they did like, you know, Downton Abbey and stuff, the idea of changing stations, well, they did it a little bit actually
Yeah.
with yeah, they did with the Irish guy in Downton
And
Abbey.
and
That's
and
true.
the girl that later played Egret in Game of Thrones, they got
Very
her like a
true.
secretarial post or
That's
something.
true.
So
But
yeah.
she didn't get rich. That's the
No.
difference with America, right? Like it's
Right.
possible that he gets rich, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh
and
yeah.
all of a sudden is like loaded.
Yeah.
So with his invention, that should be, oh, I love that show. Um, all right. Well, before we talk about Handmaid's Tale, because I know you haven't had a chance to talk about it, you have an amazing podcast, Resisting Gilead, as well. I do just want to throw your way a suggestion for a show that I've been talking a lot about that you should watch with your man,
I know what this
maybe
is going to be.
the Four
Ransom
Seasons.
Canyon.
Oh,
Oh, the Four
Ransom Can
Seasons. I
both
heard
of
you talking
them.
about Ransom Canyon early, the Four
Okay,
Seasons. Okay. I
both
think I
of
watched
them.
the original growing up, Four
Yeah,
Seasons, but yeah.
the TV show is so wonderful, Gina. You are
Okay.
gonna absolutely love it.
Okay.
You are really gonna love it. It's got a great cast. They're all funny. There's one dude in particular who plays a character, Coleman Domingo's husband, Claude, and he is like a revelation.
Hmm.
He is
Okay.
so great in this. You think he becomes so much deeper than you'd think he would be.
Hmm.
And actually, Heath wasn't going to watch it because they show a clip where he's being like very extra and silly, and he thought that's how the whole show was.
Right.
And I was like, no, that's just that actually isn't even how the character is. He's so much
Interesting.
deeper. Turns out he's like this great Italian playwright, worked with Neil LaBute on all
Oh,
this shit, like
interesting.
doesn't really act that much. But anyway, you will love it, The Four
Okay. All
Seasons.
right.
And
Cool.
it is definitely for couples over 40. It is a great show to watch
Yeah.
together
Okay.
because you
Cool.
can say, that's just like you. No, that's just like you. Oh man, you
That's
totally
funny.
do that, right? Or you say, that's like our friend. He'd be the one who did that, or like, that's
Yeah.
like that couple.
That's funny.
All right, Handmaids, what are we? How many episodes in are we now?
Can we talk about you just a little bit
Oh
first?
yeah, let's talk
Just
about you
because there's a
first.
little
Okay.
crossover. So
Yes. All right.
there's a character in this season of This Is Us who's named Nora. And I was like, I know this girl.
Wait, This Is Us. Which
Oh, sorry, not This Is Us. Sorry, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
why
I
did I
got
say This Is
confused for
Us?
a
The
second.
Last of Us.
That's all right.
Um, her name is Nora, and the actress's name is Tati Gabrielle. It's actually her name is Tatiana Gabrielle, and she has a last name, but she goes by Tati Gabrielle. And she plays Nora in The Last of Us. But I was like, I know her because she plays Marianne in You. She was in seasons 3, 4, and 5. She was the librarian that Joe meets in actually you're looking funny. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. No, because I'm looking it up.
Oh, okay. She was the librarian that Joe meets when they move to Madre Linda and has the affair with. And then
Yeah.
spoiler alert, if you haven't watched You, holds her captive in season 4. And she has a brief appearance in season 5.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She's part of the. That's where.
Yeah.
See, I love. See, it's like when you first said that to me, I was like, oh, yeah. And now I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh, right. She was there when they were off in Joel, she was standing there
Yes.
off to the
Yeah.
side and she said something.
She's one of the wolves. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Wow.
So
Good
I don't know
spotting.
if
Good
I think
spotting.
we'll see her again because she's someone they heard her name mentioned on the radio being at
Oh,
the
she'll be it.
hospital.
Yeah. She was cast for a
So
reason. As soon as I
yeah,
saw her, I was like, we're going to see her again.
she's a great actress. I also learned that she went to Oakland School of the Arts right here
Nice.
in my hometown. I don't know if she overlapped with Zendaya or not, but Zendaya also went to Oakland School of the Arts. So
Oh, wow.
yay, Oakland School of the Arts, producing some really great actresses out there.
There you go. Good
Um,
job.
but I watched the final season of You. Um, I really loved the first 2 seasons. I loved the character Beck. I loved the character Love. I was actually like really
Yeah.
heartbroken when we kind of find out her true nature. Um, and I was always kind of a Joe champion until season 4, which was kind of a train wreck in a lot of ways. And but we get this new character in season 5 named Bronte, who is played by our girl Janine from
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale. The
Yeah.
actress is Madeline Brewer. So,
It
yeah,
is hard to not see her as the handmaid. When she first came on screen, she is so captivating on The Handmaid's Tale, and she has been through so much, and
Yeah.
so much emotion has been centered on her. And June has, everybody's gotten upset about her, right? Like, how many
Yeah.
times is like, well, we gotta save her, we gotta,
Yeah.
that when she popped up, it took me, I said, I'm 3 episodes into this new season. This is, what is this, 4 or 5? Four?
Of Handmaid's Tale?
Of you.
You. It's five.
Okay, a 5.
Yeah.
3 episodes, I think, or so in, and it took me, I don't know if I'm yet not thinking that she's going to break into her Handmaid's Tale character, but I'm getting there. She's very
Yeah.
good. It's
Yeah.
hard, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. No, she's it's actually I think a very interesting role for her to play considering she's played Janine so long. And you'll kind of learn just more about her and everything that's happening.
I could tell there's something else going on there, definitely.
Yeah.
And there's something, yes, and that's what I love about you. I
Yeah.
love this new season. I
Yes.
I'm very happy with it. I don't know where it's going, but I like the fact that they added some of this like high stakes business intrigue stuff.
Hmm.
I like I like the direction that Joe is taking with kind of embracing who he is or what he's done in one way, but in another way, still fighting it. It's not all fighting it. The
Yeah.
last season where he was like, I've got to be good. It was a little bit like I've seen Dexter, Dexter has
Yeah.
gone through all that stuff, but I don't know. That show is just such soapy good fun. And they always add the peripheral characters are what makes that show, right? Like
Yeah.
the friend, I love the brother so far.
Yes, he's great.
So
The twin sisters are also
why even do that? Because it's fun,
because it's
right? Like it's
fun.
just
It's
fun.
very
It's
fun. And
just,
you find
yeah.
out some stuff about those twin sisters that like it's kind of
Yep.
jaw-dropping. And that I think was is what's so great about the show. Like season 3 wasn't my favorite, but the couple I love the most were was that Madrelinde power couple. What was his name? Sherry and I don't remember
Oh
her husband,
yes.
but he was like
Yes.
all into his like body fat and biohacking his
Yeah, that
self,
was
and
fun.
she was the mom blogger because they were so ridiculous. And I feel like the twins bring back that kind of
Ooh.
ridiculous chaos of just how ridiculous some people are with their,
And it's a perfect
selves.
show. That You is a perfect show. As everyone knows who listens, I love to build Lego. I'm currently working on the largest Lego structure I've ever made. I think right now it's probably close to 4,000 pieces.
Mm,
It's going to be
wow.
more than that. It's going to be huge. And next year I'll take it to the Lego show here. But You is the perfect show to watch when you can watch it, or you can talk to someone and laugh about it, or you can be doing something else because it moves so quick,
Yeah.
and they you'll notice, like, if you because some this season, these couple episodes have been listening to a lot, they do repeat a lot, like, we're gonna do this, they do that
Yeah.
Netflix thing.
Yeah.
So you
There's a
kind of,
formula.
yeah,
Yeah.
and names, they'll make sure to say the person's name again so you
Yeah.
remember who they're talking about. And Joe, of course, Penn Badgley is, that's his name, isn't it? Penn
Yeah.
Badgley.
Yeah.
He is just such a uniquely strange dude. And the fact that
Yes.
he's found his niche with this show and with Gossip Girl, where
Yeah.
he was kind of the same character,
Oh,
except he didn't
really?
kill people.
Oh,
But yeah, like the Gossip Girl character was like he was always trying to do good, but then he was like lost in his head, and he was nerdy and intelligent, and
hmm.
like he always felt more for the girl than she felt. She was having
Oh,
fun and he was in
interesting.
love. So it's kind of like he
Yeah.
has that look, and it's like taken him through like a 30-year career in television.
Kind of like the wounded puppy that just wants
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
kind of look.
Yeah, he does. He's got
Um,
that look. Very interesting
yeah.
face too when you really look at
Yeah.
his face. He's got it. He's got you want you kind of you're like it's interesting dude. He's married to isn't he married to like Leighton Meester or something like that? Or
I don't
he's married
know.
to to someone who was on another.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I should look it up. Someone out there in the
Um,
world look it up for us and
yeah,
shoot us an email. I remember, but he's married to another to an
actor.
actress
Okay.
from a Gossip Girl era show. Or she was on that show, wasn't she? Leighton
Oh,
Meester.
I don't know. I
You
didn't
never
watch
watched
Gossip
Gossip
Girl.
Girl, the
No.
original?
Nope.
Gina, that was great fun. I loved Gossip Girl. I watched every episode. That was very
Okay.
Blake Lively.
I know Blake Lively was in it
Oh
and Penn
man, the
Badgley, but that's about all I
cast.
know. Yeah.
And then that dude who is off camera, a real sleaze bucket, and his career never went anywhere, but he was great on that show. I can't remember his name. He
Huh.
has a real interesting kind of look to him, but I don't know. I don't
Okay.
remember. Anyway, You is a great show.
Yes, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but personally, I was very satisfied with the way they wrapped it up. There was something I was hoping they would do, um,
All right,
and
no
they
spoilies.
did their best to do
Okay,
it.
okay. All right.
There was one thing I was missing from how they did it, but overall, I was, social media makes everything possible. That's all I'll say. But I was very satisfied with how they wrapped that up. Yeah, I was very
Oh,
satisfied.
Grandpa James was asking, did we watch the preview for next week for Last of Us? And the
I
answer
don't
was
think I
no.
did. I don't
I
think
am
I
a no
did.
preview. I'm not I no long I have to watch coming attraction come like
Yeah,
previously on or like that. Not coming attract, but
yeah,
previous on because my wife always wants to watch them, so I kind of try to shut my eyes a little
yeah.
bit, but I don't watch
Sometimes
the
with
previews.
HBO and streaming, it won't do it initially. It'll just go to something else. So sometimes
Oh,
I just, even
yeah.
if I want to see it, I'm not sure how to get it because
Yeah.
it won't necessarily do it. But um now for The Handmaid's Tale final season. I think yesterday was episodes or Monday was episode 7.
Wait a second. Did I miss an episode? Did a
Oh,
new episode come out and I missed it?
um,
Wait, I thought it doesn't come. Does it come? I thought it doesn't come out until Tuesday or Wednesday.
no, I think it drops like Monday night.
Really? So am I not
Yes.
up to date? Oh
Oh my God, because
no.
that episode is good.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Handmaid's Tale. All right. So we'll talk limited spoilers to we're not sure, but I don't know what episode. Blah 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 blah
What
blah.
did you end your last episode you saw with June and Nick in a closet? Oh, sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's the
Okay.
episode I ended it. That's where, okay, so we'll talk spoilers up to that episode. What episode was that?
I think that was episode 6.
Okay, episode, and there's an episode after that?
7. Yes.
Oh man, I
Big
always,
time. Well, and
okay, because I was
I've
watching
almost,
Andor.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
almost, it was funny because I was like, oh, I think there's a there's an episode. I need to watch it before we talk today. Now I can't talk about it. And it was
Oh no,
so
I'm
good.
sorry, Gina. I messed
So
it up. I
good.
apologize.
Ah.
Do you want to chat again next week and do a Handmaid's Tale? I mean, we've talked for almost an hour to,
Yeah,
we went,
let's do it next week because I think when you watch this latest episode, you're going to be like, damn,
okay.
because
All right.
a lot of shit
Good.
starts to come
Okay.
together.
All right.
And then I'm very curious to see how next week's episode goes. Like, we are going to have to make sure we watch that because,
I'm excited now.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
it's like it was kind of like I've loved the season so far. Like, the one thing I'll say is that I have been waiting for probably 2 or 3 seasons is because the actress that plays June's mom, she showed up on a cast list for a season, I think for season 4. And that was filmed during COVID. And then she was never in that season, not even a flashback. And so what I
Oh.
had been waiting for the whole time, when I saw that, I'm like, her mom's still alive. Her mom's still alive, and she's gonna find her mom. And so when that happened in the first episode of this season, we see the shoes, we see the doctor with the clipboard, we haven't seen her face. I'm like, this is it. She's gonna find her mom, and we see her mom's face. She sees her June's name on the clipboard. I was just like, I haven't cried a
Oh
lot
man.
during The Handmaid's Tale. Angel's Flight was probably the biggest one. But I cried at the end of that first episode because I was like, thank God. I knew her mom had to still be alive. I knew it.
Yeah, that's Cherry Jones. I was just looking that up.
Yeah.
Cherry Jones.
Yeah.
She's been in so much great stuff. Her
Yeah.
wife is
Great.
actually a director and actress who you would recognize, but she was in like I don't know, is she related to Harry Dean Stanton or something like that? I don't remember. I don't know why
Mm,
this is
I
coming
don't
up.
know.
Anyway, her name is Sophie Huber. But yeah, Cherry Jones is awesome. I've
Yeah.
really enjoyed this season.
Me too.
I thought just as a general, we can talk more specifics next
Yeah.
week after I see that episode, but just as a general note, I think this season has had more little victories as far like personal,
Little
you know?
victories without so much frickin' trauma, which
That's
has
what I was
been
gonna say.
great.
Yes. Without so much torture porn,
Yeah.
we know people are in trouble. We've known for a long time. Especially, I rewatched the finale. Actually, I rewatched the last two episodes of last season before
Mm-hmm.
I started, and I had almost forgotten about the whole getting your arm run over by a truck
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Like, I was like, how much worse can she goes flying in the air, right? And then the guy runs over her arm, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, with this show.
I
Like, I
know.
get it, it's but I still love it. The acting's amazing. I like how they're kind of setting up this season, but I don't know. We'll talk about whatever happens gonna happen, but I know that they're gonna continue this with the Testaments, right? That's what it's
Right.
called.
Yeah. And
I
they've
know they're
already started filming the first
Yeah,
season.
they
Yeah.
already started shooting, and I think that there are some people involved. I don't tell me because I don't really want to know who lives or dies or how the story is transitioning,
Well,
but I
yeah.
just know that I just feel like we're not going to see the complete downfall of Gilead by the end of this series, which in some way is,
Right.
I mean, I feel that way, which is in some way just still depressing.
It might
You
be the
know what I
it
mean?
might be the beginning of the end though.
I'm good. I'm good with that. I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that. But
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to see it fall just for myself. I want to
Yeah.
one night lay my head down to rest knowing that Gilead has fallen would be a nice
Yeah.
thing for me to see.
I mean, what I will say about the Testaments, and I don't think it's too spoilery, is that two of the three main characters are June's daughters, are both Hannah slash
Okay.
Agnes and Holly slash Nicole slash there might be a different name, but they're her daughters. And then there's another character that is going to cross over and have a significant role. And what I can't wait to see this season in The Handmaid's Tale is what the point is that makes this character turn.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'm waiting. All right.
Yeah, they're
Nice.
almost
Well,
there. I can see it crumbling, but
I think I know who it
I
is.
want to know what pushes this character over the edge.
I have a feeling I
Um,
know who it is because
yeah.
I think they've been I think they've done great stuff this season, but it shows a gosh, I really have a respect for them that they didn't change what happened in the book and go for some sort of what's you love that series with Pan Am. What is that called? Panem or the
Oh,
Hunger
Hunger
Games.
Games. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That see because I was wondering having not read the original book
Hmm.
I was wondering if at some point it became a full-on, like just basically a war story of June becoming like a soldier with a machine gun and like the Battle of Pittsburgh or the Battle
Right.
of whatever, like I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if it was ever going to become that. And I think for ratings or for attention, there may have been an idea at one point, hey, let's let this transition into something where it's like more action or whatever. But the fact they've kept it as the drama, it's about the characters.
Hmm.
Yes, that stuff is
Yeah.
going on, but it never overtakes what the real meaning and struggle of each individual is. I
Yeah.
respect the show for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, yeah, it's definitely in a good way. And speaking of the Hunger Games, a fifth book came out.
Oh, yeah.
So you have the trilogy with Katniss that were made into the four movies. Then they did one called A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes,
The
which
prequel,
is
right?
a prequel about the very first District 12 winner. And this latest book is about Haymitch's um, Hunger Games, the
Oh,
second quarter
cool. Woody
quell.
Harrelson, right?
Yes, yeah. So it's about his character as a teenager. It was great.
That's
It's
funny.
hard because you know where it's going to end up, but there were so many twists and turns put in the fabric of his Hunger Games in terms of when he met certain characters and other things that happened, that it was great. It was a really
Cool.
great book. And I believe they're already going to make that into a movie,
Yeah.
but I have to say it was it was a great read.
I'm
So
surprised that's not a TV show itself by now.
I
Uh,
think it
you
should
know,
be actually, and especially since they're building world building prior to Katniss's time,
yeah,
that
yeah.
it could be a great series. I would love to see them do another prequel book about the character Tigris that was President Snow's cousin.
Okay.
So, um,
Interesting.
yeah, we'll
All
see what
right.
they
Little
do,
Hunger
what she
Games
does.
action
Yeah,
there, Gina.
yeah.
I dig it.
I'm trying to do a lot of reading this year. I think I'm getting close to 20 books read this year. So,
Nice. Oh,
yeah.
you should read this book I just read called Sapiens about the
Oh.
origin of man, human, Homo sapien, Homo
Oh.
erectus, Neanderthal, all the different types of Homo sapiens there. Well, they weren't Homo sapiens, they were in the same family. I guess they were just of the Homo genus, I guess, not family.
Okay.
Such man, Gina, what a history we have that we don't even know about. It's like
I'm
Game of
sure.
Thrones or something, right? It's like finding out about the White Walkers and the giants. It's really George, that is what makes that God, that's why I love that because he was right about that.
Yeah.
Like you need anyone listening, you need to read this book to find out the number of different creatures that existed like 12,000 to 15,000 years ago on Earth will blow your freaking mind.
Yeah.
This guy goes into it in ways that people don't want to talk about, like wars between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, and there's evidence of battles and mass uh, like murders and
Hmm.
oh man, I'm telling you,
Interesting.
it is
Yeah.
great stuff. The Hunger Games and say Homo sapien. There you
Yeah.
go. Together
Yeah.
again. Pretty much the same shit anyway, right? Now we just have better clothes.
I guess so.
They
Yeah.
did have good clothes in the Hunger Games. That's one aspect of that I enjoyed
Yeah.
the
The
weird
the
outfits they all.
costuming. Yeah.
Yes, it
It's
harkens
very
back
good.
to other times, right? Like that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, Gina, we've been
Okay.
chatting. We didn't get a chance to talk a lot handmaids, but why don't you come back next
Yeah.
week and we'll
Let's
do
do
a
that.
handmaids chat.
Yeah. Because you need to watch this latest
Okay.
episode because I was like,
Well, we'll have two more
yeah.
by then.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll have the one that I've watched and
Okay.
you haven't, and then there'll be another one. And I
Maybe we'll do
have,
Wednesday again.
yeah,
Well,
I
because
think,
what I don't think yeah, I don't think yeah, that sounds good because I think then Duster starts right after that. I think we might be doing a Duster pod that Friday, might be our first
yeah, that looks
go
pretty
on
good to me.
Duster, which I'm
Yeah.
so excited about. Josh Holloway, have you seen the preview for that?
I have. Yes.
You got to
Yes.
watch it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be
I've
fun.
heard you guys talking about it too. So yeah, it does seem like it
It's
could
going to
be
be
a lot
fun.
of fun. Um,
Cool.
yeah. All right. Yeah, that works for me. And I can't wait for you to see this latest
Me
episode
too.
because I have a new blessed bee phrase I was looking to bust out on this, and now I
Ah,
can't because but next week
all
we
right.
might actually it might come true. So
We'll see what
I think.
happens with June and those crazy kids out there in Gilead.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Gina. You're the best. Great to hear
Thank
about your
you.
trip, to chat with you
Yeah.
today. We
Yeah.
look forward to having you next week. Everybody, on Friday, I'm going to be having a special show, like I said, talking about mental health issues and Marvel's Thunderbolts. That's going to be a very fun and interesting time. Till then, dvrpodcast.com, patreon.com/DVR. Hey, subscribe to us on YouTube. And Grandpa James, you're the best. Thanks for always watching. And thanks to anyone else who watched as well. Let's see, I got to do this double stop here. I'll stop the